Eric had just finished his first year at UC Berkeley. He was out on a Saturday afternoon cycling. He was on a straight road in broad daylight, and he was hit from behind by a teenage distracted driver and killed.
Subsequent phone records show that she was texting, although she never admitted it. Eric was a remarkable young man. He was the type of man that everybody would want for a friend. He was a national merit finalist. He was an athlete. He had all-league in soccer and tennis. He was a photographer. He was in love with a young woman for several years. And his death was just horribly tragic and incredibly preventable.
This is a mother and father's absolute worst nightmare.
It is. It absolutely is.
Yeah, our lives used to be magic. And now when people ask us how we're doing, we say we're okay, but that's just what we say.
So what is the StandUP Act?
The StandUP Act is federal legislation that will standardize throughout the entire country a graduated teen licensure process. It helps take teens away from distractions.
I grew up in Southern California, and when I think back to the time when you start to drive, it was 16 years old. You've got your driver's license, and the information that I've seen says, between 98 and 2000, when California first enacted their graduated driver's program, which is you don't get your full license at 16. It is a graduated process that the teen-related deaths, at least at the age of 16, decreased by about 40%.
And that's what studies nationally show. I think we have to go beyond just that law, though, because that wouldn't protect our son. This driver was not following the law, and she was texting. And so I think we have to go beyond just passing the StandUP Act. That's the first step, but we have to create a culture where none of us drive distracted. We don't fiddle with our GPSs, our cell phones. We stay focused on the road, just like we don't drive drunk anymore.
How do we create that culture?
Well, I think the first thing is to support the law. Your listeners can go to Facebook.com/Save11. They can lobby their legislators to pass this law. Then they have to take it into their own home. They have to talk to their families and say, this is not okay. When I'm driving, I'm not going to do it. You can't do it either. So I wouldn't want to go back retrospectively and put her in prison. But if the law said now, if you kill someone while you're distracted, you're as impaired as a drunk driver, we're going to punish you like you're a drunk driver. And so I think we could go back and change the enforcement so that people know in advance. I don't focus. I don't take care of the responsibilities I have when someone's injured, that the penalties are commensurate with that.
It's so awful to have brought this child into the world and protected them for 19 years and then for them to lose their life.
Everybody thinks, they live right, they do the right thing, things will be okay. But when something like this happens, it's never okay again. We didn't protect our child. We won't have him as we get older. He won't have the life. His girlfriend won't have the partner.
I used to be a reporter in my former life and always struggled with the notion that people were supposed to say, how do you feel in a situation like this? Because I can't even begin to imagine. So I guess my question is, what you are doing right now, does it help?
It does not really give us solace. It just feels like the right thing to do.
This is kind of the legacy that we want to do in his memory, is we want to continue to try to contribute something to make this world a little bit better. And if we can prevent any other deaths, I think that would make his loss not totally meaningless.
As my final question, I would just like to ask the two of you, what would you say to parents to convince them that this is a phone call they need to make, it is an email they need to send in order to move us towards losing few of our children?
This terror you think will never happen to you because maybe you're different, you're brighter, you're smarter, you're quicker, but it can happen to you. And it's not just your mistake, it could be the guy in the other car. We have to have a society where it's just not acceptable.